everyone, welcome to today's video. So today we're going to be going through my annual budget, and just for reference, our family size is 4. It's my husband and I, our 1-year-old foster daughter, and our dog Beamer. So that's what all is included on the budget. I just wanted to tell you that because yours might be a little bit different if you have a bigger or smaller family. And also keep in mind that we're pretty frugal, so ours might be a little less than the average person. We track everything we spend, from groceries to gas to coffee to rent to anything you can think of, on our budget sheet, because we like to have a good idea of what we're spending and compare our outcome to our income ratio. We have a lot of long-term goals. Budgeting and saving is very necessary for those, and there's no way to accurately estimate how much you're spending or make changes to your spending to meet your goals unless you're tracking it. The budget sheet I created myself because I couldn't find one that was exactly what I wanted. So it's an Excel spreadsheet. I have everything categorized into different spending, and I'll show you that in a minute. And then it adds everything up so it's super easy to track and you don't have to do any math. You just type things in as you spend. I have had a lot of requests to sell my budget sheet because I've shown it before on Instagram videos and things. So it is available now on Etsy for purchase, and I will link that in the description below. There are 4 versions available. When you buy it, you get all 4. So it's one price for all 4. They're all blank outlines, so when you buy it, you can use it forever. You only have to buy this once. You don't have to buy it every year. So you get the blank template, and then you use that every single year, just put a different year on it. So it's super easy. I prefer to track my budget electronically because I don't like having to do the math, and it's just easier for me without having papers and notebooks and things like that. But you can always go back to the paper and pen method if you prefer to do that and you don't want to pay for a budget tracker. Okay, without further ado, we're gonna head over to the computer. I'm gonna take you through and show you our budget. I left it a little zoomed out for now just so you can get a view of the total thing. So it goes month by month, and then the totals are over here for the whole year. I cleared out income because I didn't want to share my income on this video because this is a spending video and it's about how much we budget and how much we put out, not how much we bring in. So that's all clear, but that's usually filled out. And you'll notice that everything's color-coded just to make it easier to keep everything separated. Everything is categorized that I will explain in a minute. And there's comments on everything that we spent that tells you what we spent it on, except for gas and grocery and things that are not specific. But that is just so that when we go back there, if we're trying to figure out, like, why do we spend so much money on other in June? As you can see here, we can go through and see all the little stuff we bought. Amazon, Scentsy wax, parking, the dollar store, just random things like that. So we'll start up here. I separate everything into different categories. The first one is bills, and that is reoccurring monthly bills such as rent, electric, cell phone, things that you cannot change and that you have to pay every month. The next category is grocery, which includes food basically that you don't eat out. So it's all the food we have at home. I also include like cleaning supplies, paper towels, toilet paper, things like that into this category. Gas is the next category, which is obvious. I don't have to explain that. Here's eating out, which we didn't spend any money eating out in January. We don't eat out every single month, but we were traveling in January, so that was included in our travel budget for that trip, so it wasn't included under general eating out. Beamer is the next category. We put his vet bills under there, new toys, because he's special and deserves his own category. Medical is the next category. That's things such as co-pays for a doctor's visit, medicine if we need it, co-pays for the pharmacy if we need it, and then cars is next. Cars will include things that you need for your car. Oil changes, tires, if something needs fixed, we need our brakes changed. Here you can see that we bought windshield wipers because we needed those. Taxes is obviously something we don't pay for every month. So taxes here, we paid our personal property taxes on the cars in February, and we don't own a house right now that's our own, so we don't have to pay personal property taxes on that. Travel would be the next thing. We went to Anguilla in January 2019. That trip was about $2,600. When we're traveling, we keep track of everything we spend and then just add the total into here instead of adding a bunch of different sections. Business is next. Now this changed for 2020. This is for my Rhianna Ferial business for YouTube, but I ended up for 2020 separating that into a whole different budget sheet. And John's business, his consulting business, is completely separate anyway, so that was never on this budget sheet. But since my business grew a bit, I separated off our personal budget, and in 2020 that won't be on here. It'll just be taken off. Other is things like Target, Amazon, makeup. Here we have, I bought grips for CrossFit. Walmart, I don't know what we bought there, but probably some random stuff. Here we have Walmart again. Surprised it's not Target. Big Lots, if we buy clothes, new shoes, anything like that. Toys for B, it all goes over into other. And then we have the months that are totaled out. So basically I have a formula, so it all just adds up at the bottom of each column, and then it totals out over here. And on a normal spreadsheet of mine that's all the way filled out, you will see the totals carried to over here to the yearly review. But as I said, I cleared all this out just so the income wouldn't be there. The income would normally be right here in this column. And here I cleared it out, but we would put a income, let's say $500. Let's say I made that from YouTube. So I would do this new comment, and then I would type Rhianna YouTube, because Jon does YouTube too. And then I would hit go. And so we keep track of where all our different income comes from. And as you can see, different months are different spending. So when we go on trips, like in December, we also went to Puerto Rico, we have a much higher spending for that month. But on months where we don't go on trips, our spending might be lower, like under 3,000. Our groceries vary as well, depending on what we're doing. If we have friends over to eat that month, if we are meal prepping a lot, or if we are on the go, that depends. Eating out, we calculate everything we spend on food that's not from our groceries. So for eating out, we put things such as, I was at work and I got a salad. Then we put Chipotle and Sour Patch Kids and water we got from the gas station. So if we got Starbucks, if we got anything like that, we put that on eating out because it wasn't part of our grocery budget. And we make sure to track everything we spend because it's very important. All the little stuff adds up, so you really have to keep track of that. Now over here in our yearly, it would total up all the incomes for the separate months, all the out, which is the spending, and then we have a net in, a net out, and here we can see what we netted for the year. Were we negative, were we positive? I feel like this is a really good way to track. I like all my different sections. I like that it adds everything up for me so that I don't have to do it, and you can zoom in and out to kind of get a big overview, or zoom in to see exactly what you want. But yeah, that's about it for the budget. I don't know what I'm doing now, so let's end this. Now that we have made it through the budget sheet, let me know in the comments below what you think of my budget layout, and if you have your own budget layout, how is yours different, or what changes would you make to mine if you needed to make changes? I'm just curious because I do like to make the templates for you guys, so I'd like to know what you're thinking about the one I currently have. I didn't mention this earlier, but I use version A, which includes everything. Version B, C, and D are all a little bit different. That's all explained on my Etsy. But remember, you get them all if you do buy it. So now for the big question you've all been waiting for, how much did we spend total in 2019, and how much did that average out to for our monthly spending? Total in 2019, we spent $35,425, and that averages out to $2,952 a month. Now that is not how much we spent every month. We spent different amounts every month depending on if we traveled. I had to buy a new computer at one point, and it kind of varies just depending on what things you need to buy that month. But that is the average. What I did was just divide the total up by 12 to just kind of get an idea of how much we spend a month. And we're really happy with that number. Our budget that we set for ourselves was $40,000 a year. We thought we'd spend between 30 and 40, and we calculated at the higher end at 40,000 because we wanted to have that buffer in there. And we didn't want to be too stressed out trying to get it to 30. We don't feel like that we're over restricting ourselves when we have our budget. We just feel like that it keeps us on track and keeps us mindful of what we're spending. For example, we know a Starbucks coffee costs $5 or $6, but if we buy the stuff at the store, we can make a whole bunch of Starbucks coffee and they end up costing less than $1 each. So just little things like that is how our budget keeps us mindful of what we're spending our money on. If our spending seems low to you, we do not eat out a lot, so that is a huge deal because we save a lot of money, thousands of dollars a year by not eating out, and we also live in a pretty cheap apartment. We only pay $600 a month for rent, so that is pretty cheap. We didn't go with something bigger and something more nice and modern because we just wanted to save that rent money, especially while I was in school. Right now, we don't really feel like there's any cuts that we need to make on our budget. All right, so that's it for the annual spending and budget video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope it was informative and helped you get an idea of how we kind of manage our spending. Don't forget that my budget sheets are linked in the description below if you want to check those out. And if you have any questions, leave them below. I'd be happy to answer them. And please share with me your budgeting tips. I just love talking to people about budgeting because I'm passionate about it. It also helps that Jon is a financial consultant. You can follow him on Instagram at The Frugal Investor, so you can see why we're so conscious of our budgeting. Anyways, you guys, I hope you have a great week. We are on quarantine here right now. You may be on quarantine where you live as well. I hope you're enjoying your downtime, and I hope that your family has not been affected by the COVID-19. As always, I'll see you guys next week with another video, and have a great week.